don't know. That is the strangest thing. Okay. Well, welcome, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us. I just was doing a little intro. I guess you were probably listening in. And we're just going to talk with Sarah about what she is up to, how she started her journey. So let us know, Sarah, how did you get started doing what you're doing?
Well, that's hard to kind of sum up in a short place, so I'll try and do my best with it. Um, it was around 2015 where I had my first experience with healing. It was actually with plant medicine. Prior to that time, or during that time, actually, I was really heavily medicated on different pharmaceutical drugs for anxiety. I have anxiety still that I work through, and this has helped a lot with depression and ADHD, and was in a really, really bad place. Like, didn't know how I was going to move forward. My son at the time was 2. I was in a really, really low place. And one experience with plant medicine kind of woke me up. And then it wasn't too long after that that things like really started taking off. I cold turkey quit all my medication after that one experience, which I don't recommend, but it was what helped me to shift as quickly as I needed to and to heal. And it was around um, 20, 2016, 2017 was when I started making jewelry. And it was when I was with my daughter's dad and wasn't having to work, so I had more creativity time. And I put the seed of life. I actually have it too, which is kind of cool. This was the first necklace I made with
Oh,
clay, and I had the seed of life on it. I had no idea what it meant, and that opened a floodgate of studying into sacred geometry. I got connected with spirit science on YouTube and started learning all about the symbols. And then it wasn't until 2017, 2018 where the just intuition and kind of like hearing stuff, I guess. I don't see things, but I hear things. And I heard Orgonite in my head and
wow.
started researching it. And I get a lot of my ideas while I'm driving. So that was something too of like creating pieces, because I got involved in music festivals with the clay pieces and just going around and walking campsites selling my art at big music festivals, which is really challenging if you're an introvert and you have social anxiety. So that definitely put me out of my comfort zone to the max. But at the same time, I wouldn't change it for anything because it made me who I am and made me really force and not force, but face a lot of the things that have been holding me back with the anxiety and the fear of being seen. And to be able to do that and express myself that way helped a lot with getting to where I am now. I think my cat might be throwing up right now. She's not feeling so good. Oh,
Oh,
hold, hold
kitty.
on 1 second.
Uh,
Oh, she gets hair balls a lot, and I think she might have something going on. But
so
um,
what drew you into so you said you just heard the word organite. I love that. I've had a couple things like that happen to me too, and it always surprises me, and it's just such a wonderful experience because you know you're on the right track when stuff like that happens, and it's like the spirit breaks through, the energy is speaking and drawing you. So what, when you looked it up and you started discovering more about organite, had you already been looking into sacred geometry or
yeah.
anything like that? So what about sacred geometry were you intrigued by, and what drew you to that?
So I had already been making the clay necklaces for about a year. And at this point, this was where I had decided to leave my daughter's father and I went on my own. So it was just me and my kids. And honestly, I got my ass handed to me with life and like healing. And the amount of information that came in at such a quick pace was really hard to digest and process because I've taken in so many different avenues of healing and learning in such a short period of time that the sacred geometry was like the main thing, because the seed of life was the symbol that I had used on that necklace, and literally it was a seed of life for me. And I know there's a lot, even in the spiritual community right now, people trying to say that the sacred geometry is wrong and it's evil. And it's like, I know beyond a doubt, because it has literally like saved my life and pulled me out of such a dark place. And I fully believe that these symbols are ancient to us, and it holds keys to our DNA and frequency, which helps activate parts of ourselves to help us align to who we are and remember who we are. And as far as like learning about it, I learned a lot from Spirit Science on YouTube. That was a really big channel that I followed. And I dove into other books and then studying and seeing all the different sacred sites. Like I've got info on my website too, of like I've got pictures of all the different sites and places that the symbols have been found all over the world, like over 18 different countries.
Wow.
And it's always so like intricate and perfect to do. Like if you ever try to draw it, it's challenging. You need a compass, and it takes focus and awareness, and I'm so grateful for it. But it also challenged me because, like I said, like going into the spiritual communities, and I've had people reach out to me and contact me directly telling me that what I'm doing is wrong and it's evil and it's hurting people. So
Mhm.
that only forced me to have to learn more
Yeah.
about what I was doing, because I do care about what I'm sharing with others and I don't want to hurt people. So really, I feel like that was a gift from spirit, kind of like you still have doubts and insecurities, you need a little push. And that pushed me just to study into it more and learn deeper on it. And now it's like I know it's such a it feels like home in my heart with the symbols, and I can't deny that. And for some people it might not be for them, and that's fine. But I do fully believe in the power of symbols, and I think what's happening right now is the suppression of the information and the frequency activations that happen from them. And I just got goosebumps. But it's like even some of the sacred symbols, like the swastika, like that was twisted and turned into being something evil when it's not.
Right. The origin of that symbol has some pretty powerful meaning. I know, and it is very interesting how that happens. There's always a counterfeit to what the real thing is, which is the real thing is always so much more powerful. I mean, because it's a part of our intention. So it's interesting how, yeah, something like that symbol could be turned into, let's make this something where people think of evil so that the actual positive truth that's supposed to come through that symbol does not make an effect. And I was going to say that, like, to people like who might be thinking, well, how can a symbol affect you so much? And I like to think about those types of things and what is that doing to our psyche when we see a symbol? Our bodies and our energetic body is interpreting. It's almost like, since this is like a matrix that we're living in, it's like if you think of everything as ones and zeros, and these symbols representing a mathematical perfection that is actually a part of all nature, a part of all things. When we see it with our eyes and our eyes interpret the the shape and the the dimensions and everything, it's, I see it as an energetic message to every cell in our body. So that's what it feels like to me looking at sacred geometry. It is an activation of sorts. So I love that all of your, I'm going to just bring on your jewelry really quick so everyone can see what we're talking about here, if you haven't seen it already, because I've already shared it. But I just want to say, I have never seen Orgonite so beautiful before. I think you have done such an incredible job incorporating the sacred geometry, and then as well as this beautiful copper edging. That's the seed of life right there, right?
I can't see
Oh,
what
you're
you're
not seeing
showing. Mm-mm.
I hope it's okay, it is showing up for everyone else. Okay, I'm showing it's the seed of life on the back and then Metatron's cube on the front.
Yeah.
And then on the sides, the copper is I rise, I heal, I overcome. So tell me a little bit about why did you choose the copper setting like that? Is that
So
significant?
this was another intuitive channeling, I feel like, and I've like for me, I grew up with a lot of stuff that happened spiritually as a kid where I was really sensitive to stuff. And then I got deemed as evil because of growing up in church. So I kind of like pushed it away and like I've always felt like I'm alone. But now it's like I get such clear direction on how to build these pieces. That was another intuitive design, doing the copper with the affirmations stamped on the sides and then having the coil as well. So the coil that's in the front of the piece on the inside comes out the back. So it actually comes out to where you can touch it and come in contact with your skin with the copper. So that's focusing and channeling the energy through the piece as well, where Orgonite already creates like a torus field energy. So that's just like a centralized piece that you can use as like even like a worry stone if you like rub on it because it has texture to it because that's the copper coil, so you get the grounding benefits of that. But anything that you put on Orgonite and the crystals is going to be amplified. So the power of the frequency of the symbols is going to be amplified. The power of the intention of the message stamped in the copper is going to be amplified as well. And I like try to I do a lot of different like affirmations and quotes and stuff on the sides. So they're reminders, like when you're looking down, you can see them. Like mine right now says, "My life is filled with love and gratitude." So it's a reminder that, like, really, when you shift your focus, and that's what these are, frequency shifters to help you shift and come into your heart. And that's something else that I've been wanting to transition and teach more on, working with the pieces, because honestly, so much of this stuff comes through as a channeling and then I get pushed through to have to do it and like use it on my own is like definitely with the workshop and stuff too. Like I've done 3 of them now and it's all been channeled. Like I'll sit down and it'll literally just come out in like 10 minutes. And then I have to go through the work of doing it and finding out what works because I'm very stubborn and resistant, but I'm also very determined too. And to be able to see for myself practices that work and be okay with, like, hey, I might not be doing everything. And all this stuff that I'm talking about, I'm not saying or claiming that I know fact for any of it. These are things that have worked for me. These are tools that have worked for me. And this is what has been given to me as a way to help people shift into their authentic self and to find a frequency within their heart. That's what I was getting to is I've been studying and practicing the Heart Math Institute practice a lot. And that is one meditation that has like totally changed my life. And I've been using the necklace too with like just placing the coil like on the center of my chest as a way to set the intention to activate the energy of the heart and really be able to breathe into that place. And it helps me so much with grounding and anxiety. Like normally I would be like freaking out right now and I'm actually doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And it's because of these practices that I've been using.
Wow. Man, and I just can't stress enough how important it is the intention also behind a creation like this. Like I have a piece of Orgonite here that I own that this is pretty a common looking piece of Orgonite jewelry, and I love it, but it is nothing compared to what you're doing. And so I'm putting out there, husband, if you're listening, I would love a Christmas gift of one of her pieces because it's just I can feel you, I can feel your intention behind it, your whole story. That's the type of energy that can shift someone's life when someone has walked through the transformation themselves and then they are putting that energy of transformation and wholeness and what they learned in the pieces that they're creating. That is why art is so powerful and music and all of the things that we create is so powerful because of that. And that's why it can also be detrimental to us too if we're listening, to music or collecting art from troubled souls who are putting that energy into it. And I just love that this is like a combination of science and intention. I mean, Orgonite is not just a woo-woo concept. I mean, there really is a science behind putting together the crystals with the metals and what that actually does. I was reading on your website about the resin because I had always wondered about the resin because I thought, well, isn't the resin just masking all of that energy coming from the crystals? Like I couldn't figure out how is that making it do anything. You know, it just seemed like that's such a weird material. But you explained it so well in the website, which go ahead and explain it to us. You'll probably do a
So
better.
the resin is, you kind of need it because that's what causes, so the quartz crystals have the piezoelectric properties, which I'll show you too. I've got for the pieces, I don't know if it's going to focus enough. It's probably not. But these are pretty solid, really good double tourmalated Herkimer diamonds that I'm using now for the pieces. They hold properties that have the ability to emit energy, and when the resin hardens, it shrinks a little bit, and that squeezes and puts pressure on the quartz crystal, activating the properties, giving it the ability to create that field of energy. And then the copper is also going to help amplify it and pull the energy in. I kind of explain it to people, it's like a water filter. So imagine like a water filter filtering and purifying water and stuff. It's pulling energy in and then expelling it back out. And you don't really have to, for me personally, what I've learned is I don't feel like you have to clean them as much as like people are like, oh, what do I do to clean it? How do I get the bad energy out, you know? And the way that I create these, they're created as like they're constantly moving, you know, it's constantly moving energy. For my understanding of how I make these, you do not have to really clean them much unless you feel it necessary. And the best way to do so is with water or intention. I also use Elite Shungite in all the pieces. I've been seeing a lot of people posting in the group recently about Elite Shungite too. And I actually just got a book on it. I like literally, I just hear directions on how to do it. So I can't tell like all the sciencey facts of the processes really because it's more so been me listening to my intuition and following that. But Elite Shungite right out of the earth will neutralize EMFs. So it's really good for even purifying water. If you put it, it has to be Elite Shungite though. It can't be regular Shungite because there's different kinds of Shungite. And elite shungite is like 98% carbon fullerness, which is the property of the crystal that allows it to help with cleaning energy and being protectant and helping against the EMFs too. So my base for every single piece is the Herkimer diamond, the elite shungite, and I only use copper. For me, I found that copper is the most conductive unless I can afford to do silver and gold, which I can't right now. So copper is really powerful too in many ways, especially for grounding and helping to clear energy. And spiritually, it's been used in jewelry for thousands of years. So it's been seen and respected as a really good quality metal for a long time.
Wow, yeah, I love my copper stuff and drinking out of copper cups and and all kinds of that is so fascinating. So it's called, was it Elite Shungite?
Elite, yeah, elite shungite.
Okay, so you use Elite Shungite and a Herkimer diamond
I think this is,
as the
so
base.
this is, that's a piece of the shungite.
Wow, amazing. Do you just do you order it already crushed
No, I end up crushing it up myself.
yourself? Yeah. And then you also use different crystals. So what are some of the different types of crystals that you use?
I try to come up with like different blends to work for different issues. Emotional, I focus on emotional because the root to most physical issues is emotional, and I'm not trying to be targeted by the FDA for trying to heal people of ailments, so I don't even go there. So if you focus on the emotions, a lot of times your physical symptoms will also heal. And there's a couple different blends. I just started a few new ones. I've rotated out of some of the older ones. One of the really good ones that I've actually had tested with a biopulsar device before this one read the highest is balance and protection, and it's a combination of black tourmaline, blue kyanite, hematite, elite shungite, and the Herkimer diamond. So that one's going to be really good for grounding and protection. And if you have anxiety, it's also really good for if you're sensitive to EMFs, because black tourmaline also has properties to help neutralize EMFs. And then there's another blend that I do, Golden Growth. I just started this one. It has citrine, peridot, green avitrine, the elite shungite, and the Herkimer diamond. And that one's going to be for confidence and abundance and prosperity. And then there's Infinite Love, which has charite, which I might be saying wrong, rose quartz, and pink tourmaline with the Herkimer diamond and elite shungite. And that one is for self acceptance, being able to fully love and accept yourself, and allowing love into your life. And all the pieces too, when I'm making them, I infuse Reiki into the pieces with a 528 hertz tuning fork, different affirmations and mantras. I set the intention into them. There's like a list that I do, and you get the card that comes with all the pieces to explain all the different processes that I do with it. So if you're wanting to, like, one is the meta prayer, like maybe be happy, maybe be safe, maybe be free from all suffering, may live your life with ease. So that's one of the affirmation intentions that is programmed into the pieces. And then you get the cards. So if you're wanting to learn some of these, you can look them up and do it on your own. And then they also come with a workshop. This is the workshop that I have right now. I do have all of these too on my website that you can print for free. I don't know if we could figure out a way that I could get them up on your marketplace too, but this is the workshop that comes with the pieces. So
Wow.
this connects with the Seed of Life that is on the backside of every single necklace I've done for like years. And it's all about setting 7 different intentions for things that you want to manifest, recognizing your mind as a garden. So it's called Sow Seeds. And setting an intention, observing your mind, and welcoming change is what Sow stands for. And then seeds are what you're planting into your life, things that you want to work on manifesting and bringing in. And then on the back side, if you're not really sure, there's like a little 7 steps that you can start with. Like one of the circles is awareness, being able to bring in awareness into your life. The second circle is acceptance, accepting yourself where you're at, not placing judgment on yourself. And then there's courage, empowerment, resilience, discipline, and responsibility. And that's just some examples to kind of help you get started with it.
Wow. I absolutely love it. You're so thorough in what you have done. Like,
It's kind of, yeah.
yeah, and it's great. I mean, that's the type of stuff that I just love the most, just knowing the person really is taking their time. You really, your heart comes through, and I know that you're doing it to help people. That's why we're here. We are in this matrix in order to bring forth love through us to help others. And I love meeting people like you and seeing you all thrive. And as you rise, we all rise together. So
Yes.
so I was just showing here, I know you couldn't see it, but I was showing some more of your work. This one has Love After Pain. That one is so beautiful. What stones are in this one?
I think that's the Infinite Love one. I can't see what you're showing, so
Yes, Love After Pain, Infinite Love.
that one has rose quartz, pink tourmaline, white, elite shungite, and Herkimer diamond, and the copper with the grounding coil.
Gorgeous.
And
Gorgeous.
sometimes I add rose petals to them too. I don't know if that's
Wow.
on there, but I do, like, I know I don't have many up right now. I do plan to get more pieces up. We've been kind of busy with just life, and I'm
Yeah.
going out to North Carolina tomorrow to help out with my dad. So once I get back, I'm gonna be focused on getting more up. I also have pieces I usually have, but I just ordered more. So if anybody's familiar with tensor rings and tensor technology, so I usually do have pieces also where I offer with the tensor rings in them as well. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be something that I'm gonna be getting up to.
Oh, wonderful. We would love to have that in the marketplace. Tell us a little bit about those, just so people will know whenever you get them up.
Yeah, so I get these ones from Mars Energy Tools. I love them. And they're really awesome people too, and doing it from the heart, which matters. So it's all they're cut to a certain measurement, a sacred cubic measurement, and when you fuse the copper together, it creates a solid circuit of energy that has the ability to these neutralize EMFs, they can restructure water, they can help with circulation and energy balance. There's like a whole bunch of benefits, just like Orgonite. So when I add those to the inside of the pieces, that it's like hyper super potent. And then sometimes I do add moldavite to them too, which also makes them more intense.
Nice. Awesome. I've been seeing those around, and I think someone just posted something about that on the page, and I was curious about it. Um, so do you have any thoughts about where you feel like frequency healing, frequency therapy is going in the next 10 years or so? What do you imagine seeing happening in the world?
I feel like the whole medical system is going to change, honestly, because it's not really a medical system based on health right now. It's based on how they can make the most money in the uppers. And I think once we start shifting and releasing all these technologies, like Organite's been around and known about since the 1930s, once we start bringing through all these new technologies and practices, and also recognizing emotions and how emotions impact you. That's why I don't even talk so much on you need to be protected from EMFs and all this stuff, you know? If my focus for my jewelry is working through the emotional blocks, because the emotional blocks are what actually cause a lot of illness. So the more you're able to release trauma and stored belief systems and patterns and ancestral wounds, the more you're going to be able to come into your authentic self and to be able to carry that energy. And I feel like as a world right now, we're going to need it because so many people are so lost and hurting, and so many of us also have help. And a lot of us, like myself included, have been afraid. Like, I am a super hermit, I'm introvert, I'm afraid of being seen. And these are just facts, you know, like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say, oh, I'm saying bad affirmations. No, these are like things that I've dealt with my whole life, and I'm aware of them and I accept them. And it's being able to sit in that discomfort and to be able to start sharing the gifts and the knowledge that we have to be able to help people. I wanted to quit this so many times because I've been so afraid of moments like this, being live with so many people potentially watching, because I have had the innate fear of being seen. And when I step into that discomfort and keep moving forward and know that it's like spirit won't let me quit. Like, I've tried so many times and I'm not allowed. So I've kind of just fallen into a place of surrender and flow and knowing and trusting that, I mean, the synchronicities I have in my life are unexplainable, and that alone keeps me moving forward. So I feel like there are going to be some significantly big changes, and for a lot of people it might be really hard because they don't know. So having the compassion and awareness for people and not coming off judgmental or feeling like this technique, especially in the spiritual community, thinking this technique is better than this technique, and like just a lot of the ego that comes sometimes in the spiritual community. We really have to focus and come back to a place of compassion and heart centered of why we're even here and why we're doing this, because the world is going to need help, and you first have to help yourself. So
Exactly.
that's important.
Exactly, which are the characteristics of a spiritual life. So if you're finding yourself judging a lot and dividing a lot, then there's more work to be done, and that's the litmus test, so to speak. It's like, how can we love more whenever we see something that we don't disagree with, or we have someone in our life that's difficult? That's the challenge, to find love within us and be able to express that love in that moment with that person or situation. And products like yours definitely help, because it starts to help clear away that residue, because I think we get really stuck in a certain mindset, which is an energy, and we get stuck in a very dogmatic belief system and way. And like you said, even in the spiritual community, it's very prevalent, and we think our way is the right way, and we lose the point of actually being able to cross over into the frequency of acceptance, tolerance, love, joy, and reap the benefits of aligning with spirit, which is the most wonderful, like you were saying, all the synchronicities that happen. I mean, I could go on and on about that, living that way. It feels like a magical life when we can let go of all the things that we think that we need to keep to protect ourselves. If we can just let that go and surrender, your life becomes magic, because that is how spirit moves. It's a magical world of synchronicities and signs and symbols and connections, and things fall into place. And, I think we're all headed there. And it just takes some clearing out, some awareness, some forgiveness. It's kind of a good segue into, I'm doing lives on Tuesdays as well for people who are not aware. And those are more focused on developing those practices, releasing traumas, getting in touch with your own voice, activating your own signature song within you, which is probably the most powerful frequency that we have. And it's based on a lot of those practices that we're talking about, which is we have to let go, we have to release, we have to do the work in order to become who we came here to be. So check us out on Tuesdays. I might have some guests on. Maybe I'll have you on again, and we'll just focus on that the whole time. And then Thursdays, I'm interviewing people like Sarah. We did one other interview so far. Sarah, you are our second one. And if you're ever wondering where those interviews are, if you want to go back and watch replays, those are in the featured section of the Facebook group. It's not a place that is up front and easy to find all the time, but it's right at the top. There's a tab that says featured. You can go there and look at all the different lives there and rewatch them all. I'll also be taking all of these over into our sister community and keeping them in a library there, because I don't know if the featured section is actually limited on Facebook. I think I can have 10 posts there, but everything that I do is going to go into our free sister community in the library over there. And that's frequencyfamilymarket.com. That's the market side. There's also a community side, and you'll see a button over there. But you can find all of Sarah's jewelry that she has, not everything that she's made, but she has 3 pieces of hers that are really beautiful over on our marketplace right now. You can find those. I think I did link it, frequencyfamilymarket.com. Just head over there and let me show it one more time. And when you go to the front page, you're going to see this. This will take you to the community side, which we have all kinds of lists, extensive lists of frequencies for different ailments, and what are the frequencies for all your different systems and chakras and all that. We also have a video library. We have lots of opportunity to connect with practitioners, and also seeing the events and anything that we have going on. And then you can go here to browse listings. This is going to open up our shop here. So we just go down here to jewelry to find Sarah's work here. So the mission here that we have is really birthed out of wanting to connect practitioners, healers, creators to those looking for frequency solutions. That just started happening on its own here on this Facebook group, and we saw the need. And so we created this sister community where that community will not be taken away from us. So I encourage anyone that wants to be sure to stay in contact. We don't ever know what can happen to Facebook. It is, it's fickle, and we get all kinds of, we have to kind of toe a line over here on Facebook. And so in the sister community, we can actually get deeper into the issues and really, really talk about what you can do to help. And then we've got the products and services that you can go check out from the practitioners that are in our community. So you can contact anyone you want to in the community. If there's someone that you're wanting to connect with that you maybe met over here in the Facebook group, and you can just deepen those relationships over there. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I am so thankful, Sarah, that you said yes to this interview and you came on and you pushed through your anxiety and came on and did it. You did amazing. I'm so grateful that you're here and I'm so grateful for what you're doing. I just think it's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'll see you next time.
All right.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.